Hey, Mark Rodriguez here. You're watching America's number one cure for insomnia, the Diving Cutter Wrestling Podcast. And with me are...
Jack Knives from Jack Knives Reviews.
Baby Chan, also known as Ninja Juicy or Wendy, call me whatever you want. Now we're going to turn this over to the one, the only, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that has a lot to say about this crazy nonsense of a pay-per-view because coming up, Johnny Rodriguez.
Oh, boy. So today we're going to be talking about AEW Revolution 2024, which, of course, the big one is that this might be Sting's last match ever. I don't know. Next year it's going to be like, what's Sting doing in Impact Zone? But at least for right now, it's the last match. We'll see. But we got a whole bunch of news going on here. So before we go into that, we're going to go into a lot of the wrestling things. And I think Jack's got the scoop on everything. So let's see. Let's check it out.
So first off, this past 2 or 3 weeks, we in New Japan Pro Wrestling, we saw goodbye to the Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada. We saw goodbye to the last remaining original member of the Bullet Club, Tama Tonga, and we saw goodbye to the aerial assassin, Will Ospreay. So New Japan, I mean, they lost some key players, but what makes it interesting is a lot of people say that Kazuchika Okada, a lot of people think like he might be going to AEW, but in actuality, I don't think that's the case. Solely on the fact that he actually has made it 100% firm clarity. He doesn't want any form, way, shape, or form working relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Mm.
So he's basically like, oh, I'm completely done with New Japan Pro Wrestling. So that all but guarantees him and Tama Tonga are WWE bound.
Uh-oh.
But Will Ospreay, as we already know, is signed to AEW. So, I mean, let's see what he does. And I know that also plays a factor into tonight's show that we're going to be reviewing. On top of that, we also had Stardom's creator and promoter and booker, Rossi Tagawa, was fired. He was fired from Stardom and removed from Stardom by Bushiroad, the subsidiary who owns New Japan Pro Wrestling and Stardom, due to allegations of poaching talent to create his own Joshi promotion. It was announced just recently that this happened, and he basically, he was just systematically fired. They told all of the Stardom talent, because many of them are loyal to Rossi Tagawa, that they are allowed, a lot of their contracts expire in March, and if they want to leave, they need to inform them prior. So we could be seeing a mass exodus of Stardom. At the same time, Rossi Tagawa denied that he was poaching talent to create a Joshi promotion. At the same time, also reporting to Tokyo Sports that he is, in fact, creating a new Joshi promotion with the help of the now ex-Stardom wrestler who will be leaving at the end of March, Julia, who is still the New Japan Strong Women's Champion. So it's estimated that she will more than likely lose the title by the end of March, but Julia has claimed she does not want to drop the belt until she fights Mercedes Moné. So that could play a factor sometime soon. And on top of that, we also have Julia, who was already pretty much WWE bound due to internotes, apparently between Tony Khan and another person who was working in AEW, that Julia is too hard a wrestler for his female talent, AKA we don't want the wrestler to wrestle because our women can't wrestle. That's at least my interpretation of it. So he basically let her slip through his fingers. However, they are at the same time, from what I'm reading, Julia is simultaneously going to help Rossi Tagawa and halted her plans to sign with AEW or sign with WWE, sorry. Halted her plans temporarily to sign with WWE until probably the following year just to help Rossi Tagawa get back on his feet and help his promotion. Then she will sign with WWE. However, WWE have insisted that she does get an English tutor so she can learn English proper to do promos because, you know, she isn't fluent in English, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But that's more of like a technical term.
You know, getting
But
to the WWE style where it's more about promos than not like actual wrestling.
Right. Well, you know, I mean, they're having a big bump with the Joshis with Kairi Sane, Io Sky, and Asuka. They're hotter than ever. So, you know, you never know what's going on. And moving on from Stardom, we also have the insane news that's going on with TNA Pro Wrestling. TNA Pro Wrestling head and president Scott D'Amore was systematically fired.
Oh, geez.
Just given the boot. And it was such a shock to everyone considering they just got the name TNA back. They've done higher numbers that haven't been even close to as good since, honestly, the numbers haven't been this good since like 2014. Like it's
Oh, wow.
huge. And apparently, according to reports, so many of the talent were pissed off that they legitimately are trying to get out of their contracts. And Anthem, who owns TNA, refused Scott D'Amore's offer to buy TNA Pro Wrestling for $10 million, which, if you know your history, that's double the amount that Vince McMahon paid for WCW. So he was actually willing to front $10 million to become the owner of TNA. They said no. Essentially, from all the reports that I'm hearing, Anthem just wants to they've done nothing to change TNA, Impact to TNA, other than giving it a new fresh coat of paint because they basically want to put it on the auction block and have someone buy it. That's the reports I'm seeing. And on top of that, Josh Alexander, Jordan Grace, Moose, Eric Young, so many other wrestlers have actually wanted the hell out of their contracts. And Josh Alexander being their hottest commodity, his contract was set to expire, but they used what's called a forced extension because during his contract, he had injured his neck and he needed to take about a little over a year off. So they basically added that extension and are now forcing him to wrestle all the way till 2025 under duress. So it's crazy. Now, a lot of people have actually been passing along the hashtag on Tony Khan's Instagram and Twitter and all over at different arenas in AEW of the hashtag hire Scott, which is for Scott D'Amore. Because they're like, dude, if this guy can bring back TNA, what could he do for AEW? Like this guy is a actual indie visionary. He knows his shit. And he's also has over 20 years of wrestling experience training some of the greatest wrestlers in the past 20 years, including the Motor City Machine Guns, Jay Lethal, The Rock. He helped retrain The Rock how to wrestle. Like so many people he's actually helped train to wrestle. I'm like, if he signed with AEW, have him in charge of creative, man. Have him not just in charge of creative, have him in charge of talent. Dude, he could do wonders for that company. But unfortunately, we do have to we have those two shocking bits of news. And then on top of that, we had the shocking deaths of Virgil and we had the passing of Ole Anderson, former Booker and former Horseman of the Four Horsemen. And so, yeah, lots of shocks, lots of surprises. And I'm going to pass it off to you guys. What do you guys think about all this?
I'm curious about the guy with the TNA, but the thing is, on one side, he would do good with AEW, but on the other side, we got the stupid EVPs, we got people that like Bret the Hitman Hart offering advice, and they're like, we're good. So I don't know, man. I don't know. A lot of fools in AEW. As much as I love the show, still a lot of fools. I can't deny that. But for Virgil, though, I do have to say at least Johnny and I got to see him in person once or twice. he was always a last minute announcement whenever we go to Steel City cons and stuff like that. And it's so funny because sometimes like a day or so before the con actually, hits, you get the thing, Virgil's at the con, And it was funny because it was such a staple. He would always be there that me and my friends had a running gag, kind of like, well, shit, Virgil's there. Well, now I just gotta go. You know what I mean? And all that. But yeah, we've seen him once or twice and everything. I don't know if I can find a photo in time. We have a random picture that we took of him without him noticing because he would, you charge if you got so much as close to him because you wanted, and all that. But I remember one time he got in trouble because the $1 Million Man was not there. It was just him. But he had a lot of pictures of him with the $1 Million Man. So he gave some of the fans a false impression he was going to be there too. So, that kind of thing. But yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised he passed. I mean, just kind of sucks they never became, I guess, bigger. And like I said, it got to the point that there's a website that's called lonelyvirgil.com. It just has pictures of him at his stand and it's all like empty because no one goes to see him much and whatever. So,
Yeah, I actually just, the fact that he's died and like, that's the main thing you think of him for. I mean, being, the $1 Million Man's like, was it ballet and all that other stuff. Then, they had that little run where he actually broke away from him and it didn't really go anywhere. Then in WCW, they didn't do anything with him. And I felt more, I mean, yeah, I made fun of him. I'm not going to lie. I joked around about it, but at the same time, I did feel sorry for him. And I kind of hate the fact that, he was in a good era of the WWF, but he still was seen as a joke. And I feel bad, that's the legacy that he's technically leaving, because that's what I unfortunately think of.
He was
Like stuff.
he was Vince with NWO because we need that extra dude. It was funny that was his role, just an extra guy. It was an extra guy.
No, that's what I'm saying.
He rarely had like a match.
But that's what I'm saying.
Well, I did find
WCW, nothing.
I did find out fun fact about apparently the name Virgil, his name as Virgil was actually a slant, or it was like a jab at a major WCW producer at the time, when WWF was around. And then when he went to WCW, they changed it to Vincent to be a jab against Vince McMahon. So it's just kind of funny that they use this guy's in-ring name to basically give a middle finger to each other. It's just kind of weird. But I think of Virgil in that same way I see a New Jack or Abdullah the Butcher, or even even Kevin Nash or a Scott Hall, where it's like, as much as I hate saying it, you guys kind of made a parody of yourselves. And it's kind of like, dude, yeah, you can't be mad at us for when you make yourself into a clown. You don't get to be shocked at people laughing at you. You're like, you did it. You put on the makeup and floppy shoes, and then you're like, well, you think I'm a clown? Kind of, yeah. Like,
yeah.
But I mean, that's all I know about Virgil. And it's like I said, it's how I remember him I don't remember really much about him as a wrestler, other than like, as someone made the joke of like, Virgil was always just $1 Million Man's shadow. That's all I ever thought him as, is just a guy who's like, he's around the $1 Million Man. It's kind of like with IRS, I found a little more intrigue because like he was kind of established before, but like, I don't know. I was just kind of like, he was just around, I guess. And then, yeah, I just didn't really have many opinions about Virgil other than him as a person, though. I know he was kind of a dick because I remember there were times where I'd see reports where he would, like, if someone was like taking a selfie, and like, I remember there's a story of like someone taking a selfie that was like not even him, but like near his table. And like he chased them down and forced them to pay for the selfie.
Yep.
There's multiple stories I hear about that. But yep. I'm just like, you kind of did it to yourself, bro. And then like him coming on that one podcast and talking about his, sexual
Madison Square
stuff, and it was
Garden.
weird.
Mm.
Oh
Yeah, that's
yeah,
it.
if you did the math, that's like one person every hour or something. It was something ridiculous that
But
no
what?
normal human can sustain.
Yeah. What do you think? What's your opinion, Johnny?
Well, Virgil was still at least pretty well known during the WWE, WWF era, but it's just sad that in the later years he kind of really gotten, I don't know, kind of like left behind, kind of like on the forgotten spot because it's just sad that okay, that yeah, you hear stories about him being a douchebag and he's too like he wants you to, you know, like visit my table, like he does that. Okay, so he is a little obnoxious in that sense, but at the same time, it's pretty sad that in his last years he's just really struggling. Like he's really struggling. Nobody's really going to his table. Nobody cares about him that much. Nobody wants to, really do the whole like, hey, I want to sign your autograph and like and have a selfie with you. Like it's just people just don't really have much of an interest in Virgil. And it's just sad that, like, I don't know, in his last years, like, he's probably struggling financially, because of that. He probably made a lot of bad decisions. I don't know the whole story about him, but I'm just assuming, being in that scenario, that he's, like, really desperate to get money, It's just, I don't know, man. It's just kind of like a sad situation. And it's like, he passed away and it's kind of sad that he didn't really, I don't know, made a legacy out of himself.
Yeah.
Like,
It was too bad
because-
they didn't have more cameos in AEW. He was there as Soul Train Jones for that one promo parody or whatever. Would have been kind of fun.
What makes it sad is that, for example, if Hulk Hogan passes away, as controversial as he is, he still left a big legacy in the wrestling industry. So if he passed away, it's going to be all over social media that, oh my God, Hulk Hogan passed away. Like, it's going to be a big shocker, a big news. But unfortunately, Virgil, it's just Virgil. I mean, I'm sorry. It's Virgil. And it's kind of like people nowadays probably don't even know who he is. That's sad truth. But, it's so sad that he passed away. It's kind of a shocker, like because it was like a couple of years ago that we went to that convention. What was it, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And he was still there, and it's just kind of a shocker that damn, he passed away. Like I was just there at that convention like 2 or 3 years ago. Like damn.
Yeah, the one that we had the one with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash were there, I think, because you were there. I don't remember us being in too many of those conventions, but you were there, and yeah.
So it's a shocker that he passed away. Since he long ago, there.
What are your guys' opinions about the whole Stardom thing? I mean, because the fact that it could be after March, there could be a lot of free agents, a lot of women, a lot of Joshi. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, I'm curious about that. I'm curious about the shakeups and who's coming, who's going. I'm curious about, is Konami still around? She's still doing stuff?
Konami's technically she's a part-timer with Stardom, but she's more often than not a free agent. But she, yeah, it's kind of hard to get a read on what she's doing. I do know that a couple of the names that did re-sign were, I know Azumi, Sayakami Tani, or no, I'm sorry. Azumi, Mayu Iwatani, who's the IWGP Women's Champion. Her contract doesn't expire until May, because in May she has a biopic coming out, which is going to be huge because she's been in the industry for like 14 years, and they've been working on this biopic about her. And I've seen the trailers, and it looks really freaking good. Like, they actually have like the actors learned how to wrestle. They have actual wrestlers in it. I think someone plays Konami. I know she's in the movie, I think. certain wrestlers play other older wrestlers. It's kind of cool. But there's that. I know Mina Shirakawa, because I also told you guys that on April 4th, which is 2 days before WrestleMania, Stardom is having its very first stateside show. It's the very first stateside show, and it's in Philadelphia. So it's like, oh shit! Like, I wish I could go to it. But there's pretty much rumors that some of these Stardom wrestlers might make a cameo or might appear in AEW or Ring of Honor in the upcoming weeks. But let's see if he actually will do something with that.
More action figures for the box.
No, you gotta go to the tour chest to figure it out.
Action figure here, and we're gonna put this action figure here. Then I'm gonna forget about them, and then later on I'll bring them back out again. And
I was actually about to say something like that. I was wondering if any of these Stardom anyone from Stardom that shows up, if they, Tony probably quick to want to sign some of them or try to get them in his promotion, because just how it's like he just wants to collect wrestlers. And then just throw him in the show, and then like you said, like we were saying, after he's done with them, he's like, he has them, he don't know what to do with them, and it's just they get lost in the shuffle.
Well, what's funny is, like I said earlier with that report about Julia, if they didn't want to sign Julia because apparently they were kind of irritated because when Julia fought Willow Nightingale, which was about a week before she was supposed to be in the Owen Hart tournament, apparently they got mad because they were like, oh, Julia wrestled too stiff for her. Or at least that's their interpretation.
Oh, yeah,
and they didn't want to overwork Willow. And I'm like, so you don't want to re-sign her? And they literally said, it said in the internal memo that apparently, according to Khan or someone who works with Khan, that he can't, they just don't have the resources to train these women wrestlers how to be on the same page.
That sounds like a bunch of BS. I don't know.
I'm like,
actually, it's because he feared for his life, man.
I'm like, oh yeah, exactly. I'm like, wait a minute. So you have gotten all butthurt because you're like, well, my daddy has more money than your daddy about Vince. But mister, you have the funds, but you don't want to use the resources? Like, you could even have your honestly, they could have a PLE at the Jaguar, adjacent to the Jaguar Stadium, because it's like, let's be honest, the Jaguars ain't ever getting to the Super Bowl. Let's be just make a PLE adjacent to that and train the kids, train the young girls, because these girls are greener than they're greener than Kermit's ass. Like, some of these women, I'm like, that video I showed you guys of that match with Deonna Purrazzo and that one girl, I was like, ooh, she almost snapped her neck. Because it's like, dude, and it wasn't on Deonna either. It's all just like, just fall with it. But anyway, I don't want to get on a ramble. Anyway.
All right, guys, we're going to start off with AEW Revolution. As of right now, filming, we only got 9 matches so far. AEW Rampage is about to start live as we speak, or, pre-recorded or whatever. It's going to air on TV as we speak. So they may have more matches. We'll refresh the Wikipedia article before we leave in case they add a couple of dark matches or whatever. So we're going to go backwards this time because we already know what the big match, I don't know if it's going to be a main event or not, but there's that big match. So we'll do that. But, and also for new people coming to our show, we do the predictions, and then we come back later on when the actual show transpired and we compare, who got it right, who got it wrong. And in this case, whoever got it right is going to get a big bucket of woo to celebrate, And yeah, that's kind of funny. We're not really sure. Maybe this year, we don't know, but stay tuned because there may be a video sometime down the line where Jupes and I try some wings, and you never know if possible Johnny might join us. We'll see. Because I think about this thing, I don't know how long, I don't know how many promotions have been hosted by wrestlers or celebs. So I don't know if they'll still be around by the time Johnny comes to visit. But if he does come to visit, Wait, are those the Woo wings or just regular wings?
They're regular wings.
Okay, I'm saying, no, don't you tell me you're going to see no Woo wings without me.
No, these are regular wings. I have to get a taste so I can compare it to the great Woo wings when I had the Woo energy to go with the Woo wings,
Now, I will say there is a missed opportunity here. If you open up a wrestling themed restaurant, okay, now follow me on this. Wrestling themed restaurant idea for all of us. We come up with, some of the interesting generic kind of, like you could have like, I don't know, like some food based around wrestlers. But the one we try to sell, we have like a super spicy chicken wings and we call it Dark Side of the Wing. Hell yeah.
Oh, God. The Dark Side of the Wing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Power bomb fries and... Oh my God. Oh man, what would you call it? Like the
I need another drink.
the battle royale burger or something. I don't know. The triple like they get like a 3-meal thing, call it the triple threat, all that kind of stuff.
Yes. Yeah, you could call the combo. It's like, would you like to add a drink and make it a triple threat?
Yeah, train the what do you call it? The people understand to say that,
And then you could be like, if you get a dessert, it's a fatal 4-way. Like, ah.
Oh my God.
We can make this, dude. And then we could call it like if it's just a burger and like fries, we could call it a tag team.
Oh, and then if you order orange juice, you could call it the freshly squeezed.
There you go.
Oh,
exactly.
Oh man.
Anyway.
And then we could do things like maybe whatever's the top selling something, we'll put a thing out there, we'll pull like the top draw or whatever, and the things that don't sell that much to go away heat or some shit. Like
yeah, exactly. If it's all like you could be like we could have it like set up for certain things of like, would you like, instead of like, how they used to say, would you like to supersize it? But instead of, would you like to make it a large? It's like, would you like to Andre it?
oh, yeah.
Dude, this can work, man. We can make this.
And just like every maybe 2 or 3 months, paying how much it costs to do that, have one of these wrestlers go in there for autographs or whatever,
Yeah, dude. Oh man, this would be awesome. Anyway,
there you go. Oh, the diving cutter eatery or something like that.
Diving Cutter Diner.
There you go, diving cutter diner, and we'll have who the commercial. Well, let me tell you something, brother. We got a wrestler size hunger. You go to the diving cutter diner and check it out. Oh my God. And for this 1 week only, the what do you call it? What would it be called?
Yeah, but we could have a series
hoagie, brother. So do you get that hoagie, brother? And you got put it with some Hulkster hash browns. What you gonna do when that wild hunger and the diving cutter diner runs wild at you, brother? Oh man.
Let's get into the pay-per-view. We're gonna be out here all day.
Okay, oh man, we lost the juke. She made a run for it, I think.
No, that's cool. Well, we could still pitch ideas. What if we did so we could do like a play on different wings, but like the most spicy would be the dark side of the wing. But we could do like the jumbo wings. We could call those king of the wing. And like just different. Dude, we could do so much stuff with this. It'd be great. It would be like, oh man. Or like you could do I don't know. We could do so many things. Anyway, let's get to the pay-per-view before I forget.
When we like coffee in the morning with the cream of the crop and stuff like that.
Would you like it? And yeah, no, we could just call it we could just call it a cup of like we spell it like that, a cup of coffee. It's like, can I get my eggs with a cup of coffee? But you got to say it like that.
Oh, God.
I was thinking what Mexican food can qualify for it to be called cero miedo.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, something like the real hot wings, like the different, like it'll be like, hot, mild, whatever, and the cero miedo ones and whatever. Oh,
Cero miedo would be
call me Poppy
right
wings.
under Dark Side of the Wing. It'd be right under there.
The call me
How
Poppy.
about they serve tostadas and they call it the cero miedo tostadas?
Oh, hang on. I have something real quick before we start. I have something really quick to show you guys. I think you guys will know who it is before.
Now remember, if Jack Knife starts going on a rant about wrestling, that's no good.
He's gonna take those young bucks down, man.
In the background, you hear the whenever Sonic was giving his advice and all that. Oh no.
That's a blast from the past.
Mm-hmm.
Dang it. I can't find the thing I was looking for. I'll show it to you next time.
Yeah.
I met a Lucha Libre, but I'll tell you about it later.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, let's get started, guys. We're gonna go from down to up this time because obviously you know what the main event is, whether it is the main event or not, but you know what it is. So, anyways, the first one we got here is an interesting one. It's called the All-Star Scramble match, and whoever wins this match, it's wow, it's like 8 people. So whoever wins this match is going to get a future AEW World Championship match. So we've got Chris Jericho. That's interesting. We got Wardlow. Okay. Powerhouse Hobbs. We got Lance Archer. We got Hook, Brian Cage, Magnus, and Dante Martin. And they're all going to, just go at it. And, the winner will get a future shot at the AEW World Championship. And it's kind of interesting, though, because I could have sworn that there was a match. I guess they might have changed it or something. Wasn't there supposed to be a quote-unquote meat match that was just like Wardlow, Hobbs, and Archer? But I guess now we got this. Maybe it evolved into this. But I really don't know, like, who would win this one, because I don't really see Jericho winning it, because I mean, obviously they could build the promo, he wants to be the champion one more time or whatever, but I don't see Jericho winning this. I don't know about Wardlow, Hobbs, Archer. I mean, Hook is gonna be Hook's gonna be like, even though he's like booked as unstoppable, he is gonna be like the little guy compared to everybody else. Brian Cage, and I don't know, man. Donnie Martin, Magnus. Jeez, there's so many people here that could benefit from a potential match here.
Well, what was the match originally Wardlow was supposed to be in?
Well, I thought it was supposed to be, because I saw the picture before. It was a meet.
Yeah,
so it was supposed to be just Wardlow, Hobbs, and Archer, right? The 3 big dudes.
Yeah, I saw that online too. So my theory, if that's the case, and they didn't do that, and then they changed it to this, if that's the case, I'm going to say Wardlow. I think it's either going to be Wardlow or Hook, but I'm going to lean towards Wardlow because they keep trying to push Wardlow. I think they want to push Wardlow more to the fact that AEW, all the fans have said the same thing online about Wardlow, and it is that they haven't done jack shit with him. I mean, he got this gigantic push, or it seemed like a gigantic push after he like beat the crap out of MJF, and then I know he got injured. That's, no fault of his own. Situations happen. I get that. And then he comes back, and then they don't do anything, and then they don't do anything, and then they don't do anything, and now they put him in a faction. And from what I've been reading, apparently he's just getting fed jobber after jobber again, like he did before.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, I'm going to give it to Wardlow. I would love to see Hook versus Joe again, because that is one of the few matches I did watch, and I was like, oh shit, This is a good match, man. That is a highlight for Hook's career for sure. Like Joe made Hook fucking phenomenal in that match.
One thing I do want to say though on that note is that I like that, and maybe this might be a theme for the Wardlow category. I'm gonna go for Wardlow too now that I think about it. He actually had a promo a week or so ago where he actually addressed all of that. Like I don't know if it's like the kayfabe, whatever, but he addressed all of that. He addressed how he beat some of these guys. They done nothing with him. He beat MJF and whatever, and despite MJF being whatever, but I beat him down in a couple of minutes, yo. You know, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So he addressed like how he actually mentioned, which is something I haven't heard actual wrestlers say. I've heard all the fans say it lots of times, the whole strap the rocket to his back kind of thing. He made the reference to the rocket and how nothing was done with it and all that stuff. So I think that with him actually acknowledging that it's been twice that he's been kind of like whatever, but nothing's been done with him. Maybe now they'll finally pull a trigger on him, because that is interesting. You don't get to see that too much in wrestling, you know, when they try to. Yeah. It would be the equivalent of Roman Reigns back then actually cutting a promo on like how like he's getting pushed and no one likes him and whatever, like actually addressing that directly. So given that, I'll probably give it to Wardlow with that.
You know, actually, you guys are both wrong. The person that's going to win this is going to be Orange Cassidy, because it's Tony Khan, even though he's not even in the match. No, but joking aside, thinking about it, I wouldn't mind it being Hook winning this, but he already had a chance. He had a shot. Still don't know what they want to do with Hook, but the fact that they've been kind of trying, because of that promo Wardlow cut, like you were saying, like for the past, you know, a few whatevers ago, it would make sense if they give it to Wardlow and have Wardlow versus Joe. Because honestly, I couldn't see Joe dropping that title anytime soon. So yeah, I think I'm going to have to agree with what you guys were saying. I'm going to go with Wardlow on this one. What about you, Johnny?
Yeah, even before you guys all agree with Wardlow, even I was thinking that, hey, it would be kind of cool. Like, what would happen if Wardlow win this match? And you know, he's still a huge guy. So having this type of match where there's so many people in the ring and there's so much stuff going on in the ring, you know, Wardlow, there's no chance that Wardlow could just throw these people out of the ring, you know, whatever. I mean, the only people that he's going to have a challenge is going to be versus Powerhouse Hobbs, you know, Brian Cage, like the bigger guys. Of course, he's going to struggle a little bit more. But other than that, everybody else is like, we're going to throw you out of the ring, you know. So, yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be interesting for Wardlow to win this match, because he really hasn't been, like, promoted properly in this company. So it'd be good for him to finally win something, you know.
Yeah, also, it seems ever since he literally lost that title, he's been screwed over. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I'll see how that goes. So yeah, I guess all of us are going for Wardlow there. And let's see what's going on with the next match here. So next match, you got a tag team match, which looks like just like a regular tag team match, no like title on the line or anything like that. It's FTR, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler versus the Blackpool Combat Club. In this case, it's going to be Claudio Castagnoli and John Moxley, which is, you know, Jupe's personal favorite wrestler. And yeah, we'll see what's going on. I want to give it to FTR. The Combat Club, whatever. I mean, I do have to say, though, this is going to be a banger of a match. And don't be shocked. This might be a big spoiler, but there are rumors floating around that Moxley may or may not get busted open during the match. I know it's something that rarely ever happens, but he might get busted open. We might see some color in this match. But yeah, I'm going to give it to FTR. I mean, they're badass. They're awesome. Anyone who's watching the podcast have seen how I just didn't care about them, but once they had the match with the Briscoes, I became like a big FTR fan and stuff. But yeah, you know, we'll check those out. I'm gonna give it for FTR, see how that goes. Really not too much to say because Combat Club is a Combat Club, whatever. So I'm gonna give it to
FTR. Same. I mean, I don't I don't know why. Honestly, I mean, I know why, but I'm saying story-wise. I don't know why they took the tag belts off them in the first place. I mean, I know why story-wise, but it was stupid. Like the main reason was honestly because the whole reason they took the belt off of him is because they weren't sure if what's his name Cash was going to go to jail or not, and that's which is I'm like okay.
No, I remember
right,
now.
well.
So whatever happened to that, or are they still waiting to see if we're going to call him for court? I really
They're still waiting to see. I mean, he was charged with aggravated assault with a firearm, so he was actually charged. Obviously, he didn't get jail time yet, so they're waiting till June to see what the sentencing is. I think that's why they're not pushing them. And yeah. So for that, I guess it's like a way to push FTR without actually giving them a belt. I mean, they've already said this is their final run in AEW, so or their final run in wrestling. So I'm like, we'll see how far that goes. But I mean, yeah, it's like I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna say, yeah, FTR, they're amazing. Probably one of the best tag team wrestlers on the planet, like tag team on the planet. It's just a shame that no one uses them proper, but you know, it is what it is.
Oh man. Oh yeah, one thing to say for this. FTR. I'm going with FTR. FTR. You know I'm going with FTR. Like I said, I don't care. I hate the Blackpool Combat Club at this point. I hate what they've done to Claudio Castagnino. Oh, what I forgot. What I call him now? Cesario. I hate what they've done with Cesario. And I hate the fact he's associated with Moxley.
Claudio Chicken Parmesan.
I like saying Cesario. Anyway, oh yeah, I went with FTR with this one. I would want them to win because they deserve to win, in my opinion. I just wish it was against another team or another tag team. I don't know. It's just FTR has great potential in my book, in my opinion, from what I have seen of them. I like FTR. I like how they wrestle. I just wish they could get it highlighted a bit more against a more competent team, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think going against the Blackpool Combat Club is, can really highlight that. Maybe against those Briscoes, unfortunately, but yeah, I don't know. And I'll just shut up now. It's FTR. What about you, Johnny?
Yeah, I agree. It would have to be the FTR because I do like them. They're so a good tag team. I mean, yes, in their personal life they have their controversies here and there, but on the spotlight they're pretty good, as a tag team. And I'd rather watch them win this match compared to John Moxley. I really don't care about John Moxley at all. Claudio Castagnoni, I mean, he's just very repetitive at this point. I mean, he's a good wrestler, but he's just like very repetitive after a while. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind for FTR to win this match. Also because, let's get this match rolling before, he gets arrested or whatever,
Yeah. I guess the thing was that since it's so unpredictable, it's hard to say, because had they known they would still have the titles now, maybe drop it to the Combat Club or something if something was happening, but it's so hard to tell, at any moment he could have been called in a court or something, but yeah. So anyways, the next match we have here, we've got Daniel Garcia, the former sports entertainer, going up against the father that stepped up, Christian Cage. Your dad and mine, Christian Cage. But of course, he's flanked by the usual suspects. He's got Killswitch, he's got Mother Wayne, and we've got the prodigy, Nick Wayne. It's a singles match for the AEW TNT Championship, and I got to say, it has to be Christian Cage because number one, Daniel Garcia is seriously outmatched. He no longer has any real buddies. I think what's his face? Daddy Magic is still there, still in his corner. But again, what can Daddy Magic really do against all these guys, especially Killswitch and Luchasaurus and all that. And also, I really don't see Christian Cage dropping the title, not to Daniel Garcia. I mean, I don't know, maybe down the line, but not here during their first outing. At least the way I see it. I don't know. I kind of see it. It has to be someone more, I guess, elevated that could eventually take his title or something. But I would be shocked if Daniel Garcia. I mean, it would be cool though. I would say that, but I would be shocked if Daniel Garcia actually won it. I'm still gonna give it to Christian Cage. The numbers are just stacked way too high against them and everything. And even with Daddy Magic there, I mean, I don't know. So those are my thoughts there.
Yeah, pretty much the same. I mean, like, yeah, it's Christian Cage. He's gonna retain. It's like pretty obvious. I mean, like you said, he's got his little heritage or whatever the hell they're calling themselves. I don't remember.
Oh, aren't they called a patriarchy now or something?
Yeah, patriarchy or something.
What I want to say is that face he has resting bitch face, and it really looks like the mother outside in Jupes the other day. That mother thing where it's like if you keep making that face, it's gonna freeze that way. It looks like that. Like he has that little scowl on his face.
And remember what I said too. And remember what my response was to that?
Mm.
So that's why Vince wanted to put a blue dot on his face allegedly.
So what's the deal with him and his mom? Is like, are they together or what's going on with that? Because I don't really. I'm like, because I don't know. Anyway, okay.
You know that the DJF is trying to see if he could get adoption papers, have Christian Cage sign them.
But remember, he has to have a hot mom first. Yeah, make sure the mom is hot. Because Christian don't go, just don't adopt just anyone. You got to have a hot mom for him.
It's like he sent a note to Nick Wayne every birthday. Valentine's Day, the roses are red, violets are blue. Your dad's dead. Like that's it. I love Christian Cage.
Oh my gosh, yes. I love heel Cage so much. I love heel Christian so much. He is a joy. He is a true joy. Oh, he's always going to retain, but he is such a true joy. Yeah, and you know what? I couldn't see them taking that belt off of Christian anytime soon. And like I said, of all people, I just couldn't see it going to Daniel Garcia. I mean, yeah, he got his dance and all that. You know how I like his dance. But yeah, could you guys see out of all the people that Christian could go against, who could you see him dropping the title to? And from a story perspective, how would this work with Christian and Daniel Garcia? And I just couldn't see any kind of story progression really fully coming off of this. So yeah, I'm going to say that Christian's probably going to retain. And this is just probably more of Tony was just saying, hey, oh, my dancing Daniel Garcia doll. Oh, you know what? I want to see him go against Christian. Oh, let's see how this works.
He got the Daniel Garcia action figure with hip shaking action.
As long as Tony don't try to do that hip shaking action again, like he's about to kill somebody, but or would knock his hip out trying to do this little dance. Oh gosh, that was embarrassing looking. Save my sanity.
Oh, okay, so for this match, right off the bat, this is like a very weird match. Like, what's the story behind Daniel Garcia versus Christian Cage? Like, is there a reason why they're fighting or what's going
the title.
on?
He wants that title, obviously, and you know, you gotta take down Dad of the Year. You want that title.
Yeah, I just don't see a connection with Daniel Garcia, like, versus Christian Cage and vice versa. Like, I don't see the, whatever.
Well,
But
because you're gonna see the TNT title wrapped around them hips when he's,
I mean, I can see Daniel Garcia wanting to fight an opponent. I just don't see like why Christian Cage would want to fight versus Daniel Garcia. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, Johnny, I'm saying for the title, you know what I mean? You gotta get the champ.
Yeah. Either way, it's still a weird match. In my opinion, it's not something that's really pay-per-view worthy either. Like, I don't see like, I don't know, like to put this on a pay-per-view. But putting that to the side, I still think Christian Cage is going to win this match. I think Daniel Garcia is way outnumbered because, he's going to have the cheating people with him. He's going to have Nick Wayne there. I don't know, the mom might still do something, he might still try to pull his leg or whatever, like in the ring when they're discussing whatever. How they always do that shit. Killswitch is what used to be Luchasaurus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have him as well. So I don't know, man. I see them as backup with Christian Cage. They're going to cheat here and there. So, Christian Cage doesn't really need to have all the cheaters there, but he's still going to have them anyways. And he's just a very good wrestler. Not that I'm saying Daniel Garcia is a bad wrestler. It's just I just feel like Daniel Garcia is still not to that level, like to fight versus Christian Cage, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so it's all Christian Cage, and
they just put Daniel Garcia because they wanted to put some entertainment in the pay-per-view with the, dancing.
Yeah.
So, something for the ladies, because I don't know about you, but I like Daniel Garcia's dance.
All right, so yeah, I think we all went for Christian Cage. So next match we got here, singles match, which is like the whole thing was, I guess, there aren't any worthy opponents, so Don Callis is going to give us a gift of having a match between his own guys. Will Ospreay versus Konosuke Takeshita, and
It's another one.
I'm gonna give it to Ospreay. I did see there was a little bit of friction there that last time they bumped, so we'll see where that goes, But you know how it is. Everyone's like good friends until the one guy wins, and then the other guy loses, starts getting pissy. So you might get something there. So I'm gonna go with Ospreay, but that should be a pretty good match and everything. I think it's one of those matches where it starts off as non-personal, we're just buddies, or I guess teammates wrestling, but once one wins over the other, that's going to start some shit. And for all we know, that could also be the beginning of the end of the Callis family, if it, gets like that.
With Hobbs in the background.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it's the end of the Callis family. Jeez.
Hobbs still works here. Clap, 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 clap. Hobbs still works here.
I say that Ospreay's going to win, and he's going to literally like do it deliberately to say fuck you to Don Callis. Like after the match, he's going to do the crowns, like he's going to do the United Empire and go to Callis. He does, because United Empire is dissolved. So if you know, you know. So but like I said, like that would make me happy. Actually, I don't know if United Empire is dissolved. I mean, because he's not in charge anymore. He's not really with them anymore. So I don't know. I really don't know. But I don't see Ospreay signing a multi-million-dollar deal, or allegedly. I don't know if he did or not. Only for him to basically be a second string fiddle. But isn't that the story of everyone in AEW?
But remember, he only signed because that way he'll be able to spend more time with his family. So,
Well, actually, he said in his final match in New Japan, he said it's his final match for now. The real reason he signed with AEW was because he wanted to still work with New Japan. So he could still do shows. So, because honestly, if it was a matter of like, oh, travel arrangements or whatever, I'm sure WWE would be more than accommodating to his family. Like, but it's like, yeah, I think it's more to do with him still wanting a working relationship with New Japan. Because unlike the Bucks and Kenny, he doesn't want to burn any bridges. Jay, it was more of like, with Jay, it was different because Jay had done everything. And we've seen what happened with him. And I know for a fact Hunter and Jay are literally just kept watching the clock, counting the days till he's out of that shithole, and then just goes like, all right. And then like
I'm thinking, man, for this match when they announced it on Wednesday, and I was like, wait, what? I said, okay. And then that's when I told Mark here, like, okay, with some of these matches that be putting on the card here, I'm having trouble. The prediction's gonna be a little bit tougher with this one because I'm still trying to think of things from a story perspective, how it's going to go, what they can do with it down the road, and the fact they did try to set up that Takeshita and Ospreay have that a little bit of tension there. And I think they will have an actual good match. I actually am looking forward to this match. But I'm just trying to think of it from a story perspective so I can give some kind of prediction. As much as I like Takeshita, I couldn't see him winning this match since this is technically going to be Will's first match since coming in and becoming all elite. So yeah, I believe that Will's going to win, but I do expect it to be a good match. I mean, I have actual high expectations for this match. How about you, Johnny?
I think the same thing, and I actually predict that this match. Yeah, so I'm with Will Ospreay for this one. I think he'll win the match. But I feel like this is going to be like those really long matches. Like it's going to be long and very technical and very like so many close calls here and there. Holy shit, But yeah, I think Will Ospreay is going to win this one.
This one might actually be match of the night when you think about it, right?
Considering that he's still brand new to the AEW, right? Like they just signed him, right? So
yeah,
probably
what
want
do you think, Jack? Will this potential to be match of the night?
I have to look at the card real quick. Yeah, I would say this will more than likely be match of the night. I mean, just off of sheer just speed alone, because it's one of the things Takeshita is able to do in the same way that Ospreay is able to do. Is it's hard to explain, but like with Kenny in his early days, he was like the master at doing this, where it's kind of what I refer to as slingshotting. It's like where you're so quick and hit hard at the same time, but you're like a bullet. You're like, that was one of the things that Ospreay could do that he can do that Takeshita can do. He's one of the few people that could keep up with Ospreay in that regard. But with Ospreay, he's much more of a flexible wrestler because Ospreay is a wrestler who can pretty much get a good match out of anyone. I mean, hell, everyone saw the match he had with Orange Cassidy. Like, like it's kind of like, I'm nothing against Orange, but it kind of, it's like that saying, no shade, all shade kind of thing. You're like, oh, that's kind of where I feel about it. But with this match, I do think between this between this match, there's two matches I'm actually really excited to. It's this one and the other one is later on the card, but this is the main one. This is the one I'm like, okay. Because funny enough, these are guys who are from two separate, like they were basically not aces, but what's the term? Rising star, like golden stars of their respected dojos. So like Takeshita came from the DDT dojo or the DDT dojo and worked his way up to becoming like the top guy. Ospreay did the same thing with New Japan Pro Wrestling. So it's interesting for them to finally clash. I do think it's a bit of a waste to start that, but I also think it's going to be a freaking banger if they do it right. That's the key word there. If they do it right, it could be potential match of the year candidate. I really do think so.
Just real quick update for everyone. William is too busy to join us, Ninja Japan of 1980, but he did drop his comments here and there, and I'll be going with them as we go to those matches. But for the ones we've already gone, what do you call it? The mega match, whatever that first match is called. Let me see what the All-Star something. Let me see the All-Star Scramble match. He went for Hook. So there we go. That's our first contrarian selection. FTR versus Blackpool Combat Club. He went for the Combat Club. Christian Cage versus Daniel Garcia. He went for Christian Cage. And this recent one, Ospreay versus Takeshita. He went with Ospreay. So I'll keep you posted with the other matches. So right now we got this big one here. Singles match. Oh, wow. Really? Let me look at this. This is a big one here. So this is a singles match for both the Continental Crown Championship, which is the Continental Championship, the Ring of Honor World Championship, and New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Overweight Championship. The one that currently owns all the gold for that is Eddie Kingston going up against Bryan Danielson. And in this particular case, other than the title being up for grabs and stuff, is that if Kingston actually defeats Danielson will have to shake Kingston's hand for respect. And given all that, and given the fact that we kind of know, behind the scenes or whatever, that Danielson is more interested in just going up against all these different dream matches before he calls it a career. He's not really like out to get gold or anything. And of course, Kingston is pretty high up there nowadays in terms of people liking him, going over and all that. I'm gonna give it with Kingston. I'd be super surprised if Daniel won, but I mean, I don't know. I think the thing for me is that whole handshake thing. If it wasn't for that, I might have been more for Danielson. But I think for the spectacle of seeing him having to acknowledge respect for Kingston and how Kingston seems to be like, he's doing that. He's like a rising star. He's getting respect from people left and right. The same people that would insult him and make fun of his weight and whatever are now like changing their minds the more he improves and all that. So I'm going to get it with Kingston because I think the whole thing is that, to see Daniel Bryan actually shake his hand. So, yeah, I'll give it to Kingston and we'll see what's going on with that one.
I'm going to go with Kingston as well. I mean, honestly, it's like a matter of I just don't see him dropping those belts to Danielson. If the belts weren't on the line, I'd lean towards Danielson, but I just don't see him dropping those belts. I mean, I do think it's bullshit that Danielson has been in this company, I don't know how long, and hasn't won a single belt. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but the thing is, in this case, it's its own preference, though, it sounds like.
No, I know. I do think it's kind of messed up, but that's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Kingston is doing a good job at, I mean, he's not really doing anything with the Ring of Honor belt, but as far as like from New Japan's perspective, he is actually showing respect to the Japanese strong style. And he has been kind of showing that, especially to the mainstream audience by, going to indie shows and wrestling. And I think he's actually going to be at Windy City Riot, which is New Japan's biggest to date show that is going to be stateside, their biggest show stateside. And then that was originally going to be their biggest show until the show that I'm going to in May, which is called Resurgence, which is going to be at the Toyota Center. So that's going to be really big in that. So I think the problem is like Danielson is wrestling for his own ego, but Kingston's kind of wrestling for brands and style. And I think because of that, it's kind of like you said, he's earned people's, I mean, hell, he earned my respect, and it's not a thing you can get easily. And I think, yeah, he's more than earned his dues. And I think he's a great guy. I don't ever see him as the top champion. Would it be cool? Sure. Do I see it happening? Probably not. But I mean, the fact that he's got 3 different belts is pretty cool. And I just, like I said, I think that that or the last match one of these two might be match of the night. I'm not sure which, for various reasons, but I think it might be this one or the last match, but more than likely this one might be match of the night.
I am going with Kingston. But I want to say something silly here. So even if the belts weren't on the line and it was Kingston versus Danielson, I would go for Kingston because Danielson is associated with the Blackpool Combat Club. I don't like any of them anymore. I want them to go away. I mean, what's the point? They don't have Regal. I mean, anyway. No, but joking aside, I just couldn't see Kingston dropping those belts for the same reasons that Jack kind of brought up, and also what you were saying too, Mark. So no, I really just could not see Danielson winning this. So yeah, and Danielson for the most part, he is just in this just to he's just mostly in it because he's in it for the fun of it. So I kind of can't, fault him for that because, it's like he's trying to live out the time that he missed when he got concussed and all messed up and, being away from all this time where he probably still should be away from wrestling all this at this time. But, it's AEW. You're messed up in the head? Come on over. We don't care. Come on and wrestle for us. Doctors? Who need doctors? Just come on over. We'll take your word that you're okay. We don't have to check you out. No, Kingston. And also for the other reasons, even I used to make fun of Kingston for a bit. I used to call him like the penguin when he was Walter. And I think he's pretty cool. Like I say, he has that strong style. But I'm not big on that strong style, but at least he does it proper and right. So yeah, I think Kingston's going to win because I just couldn't see him losing those belts. And I think Danielson is going to lose because Danielson is more in it just for the fun of it and the competition of it, not necessarily to win. All right. Let's see. How about you, Johnny?
Yeah, just like everybody else, I would really like Eddie Kingston to win this match. Because I don't know, like every time he fights in every single match, he just keeps improving himself more and more. Like he gets better and better. So it's very cool to see a wrestler that is already good, but he's just getting better as time goes by. And everybody now loves Eddie Kingston. He earned the title. He earned his respect. So, I'm down for it. I'm down seeing Eddie Kingston win this match. Because Bryan Danielson, another thing is that he doesn't have much charisma, in my opinion. Like he's just like, I'm not saying he's a bad wrestler, but he's just like very generic, like very just there to wrestle, but he doesn't really add anything to it, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't really find much charisma in Bryan Danielson, so yeah, it'd be good for Kingston to win this.
I've never really thought about that, what you just said there about the charisma thing with Danielson. Oh.
To be very bland.
Well, to be fair, both of them aren't. Let's be honest. Like both Kingston and Danielson have never been known for their, you know, being eloquent and soft-spoken kind of wrestling, because like they've always just been like, I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna beat your ass, that's what's gonna happen, the end. Like, and the truth of it is like, and you know, for some people that's cool, some people that's not, because like the thing of it is like they're a part of a rare cloth of like, and Joe is like this too, but Joe has a lot more mic skills where it's just like kick ass first, everything else later kind of thing. Like they don't really need to worry about character. Well, the problem is a lot of wrestling, and I've explained this to people. I said, wrestling is majority of it is actual in-ring work, but a big chunk of it is also character. And it doesn't matter how good in the ring you are, if you don't got a character enough to latch people on, it's like, who cares? That's why you had, I mean, the perfect example, look at the Attitude Era. Who was the best actual wrestler in the Attitude Era? People never give him credit. Lance Storm. But no one gave a shit because he didn't have any character. His character was, I'm a Canadian. Like that was his character. But he wasn't even close to the top guy, but he was, and people even say the Attitude Era, all the wrestlers like, dude, best wrestler that we had on the roster. But that's the thing, is like being the best in the ring doesn't necessarily translate to character or sales. And
I'll just say that is, so hard to compete when you had like Olsen, you had The Rock, you had Medicare, you had Kane, you had
I know.
Wow.
I know. You had so many characters, because this is the thing, and this is a hot take going into me watching WWE as well. The Rock is not a good wrestler. People disagree.
As much as a Rock fangirl as I was at the time, and sometimes am even now, even I can look back and admit that he really was just,
He's amazing character, fantastic on the mic, terrible in the ring. And the truth of it is, and sometimes that works. Look at MJF. Actually, no, I take that back. MJF, I'm not joking when I say this, because I'm watching WWE currently. I know. The Rock is so bland on the mic. Like, I'm not joking when I say this. I know he's going for this whole heel Rock persona, but it's not working, because it seems too phony. Because here's what's happening is, the problem is, and this is, I hate saying this now, and I'm going to probably get a lot of shit for this. And you all know, I hate MJF with a passion. He to me is like he is the anal cyst of wrestling, but I will give him kudos. And I say this 100% without any form of irony. Now, in 2023, 2024, he is better on the mic than The Rock. I'm dead fucking serious. Like, it is painful how bad he is. Like, I'm not joking when I say that. The stuff that he says, he is doing now, catchphrases and speaking the way he did in the 90s. And it doesn't work. It sounds too phony. It's like when you see Hulk Hogan and he's sitting down talking, and then he does well, let me tell you something, Gene. And you're like, dude, you're 70. Calm the fuck down. You're gonna pull a cardiac, dude. It doesn't work in the 80s. It worked when you were roided out of your skull. It doesn't work now that you got flabby titties and you don't know where the fuck you are half the time. It doesn't work as an intimidating thing. It's the same thing with The Rock, where he's like, The Rock is coming out like he's like telling people like, he's trying to be insulting, but then like, here's a perfect example. His social media is all over the place, because he's going on the ring and he's insulting the fans and da-da-da-da-da. And then he goes on social, it's like, wow, so happy to be here, guys. Can't wait. I'm like, wait a minute. You can't. Could you imagine The Rock in the 90s doing that? The Rock going like,
No.
The Rock's gonna beat the shit out of you, and he's gonna slap you backwards, man.
Well, another thing is that The Rock got so polished as a Hollywood.
You're like, what? What?
Hard to see him as a heel. That's
What?
another thing. though.
No. The two. Could you imagine if MJF did that?
They'll keep it in character, man.
Yeah, you got people flipping out over
He's
MJF
doing-
because they just don't understand that he's in character. And people are getting so mad at him because on social media he's doing this and this, or because he's grabbing kids' things and tearing them up, because it's like, dude, he's in character. And they just don't get that,
Right.
you know?
Right. And he's staying in character. Because in the modern day, this is the one thing I will give kudos to MJF. He does keep kayfabe alive. I will give him kudos, 100% on that. But the thing of it is like the modern day wrestling fan may not understand that because we're so used to it's, I remember what's it called? Who said it? Hold on. Sorry. My light was, there we go. My light's kind of buggy right now. Sorry. I the problem that I have is that the modern day wrestling fan doesn't understand that the worst thing a wrestler can do is have a social media presence. Because if you have a social media presence, you have to keep it to a minimum. Like, hey, take a picture with your family. Cool. Hey, I went to a theme park. Cool. But the problem is they go like, I'm going to beat the crap out of you on Sunday, and there's nothing you can do. And then cut to early Sunday morning, them carpooling with the guy they're going to fight going, it's like, what? No.
Like Jericho's going to, like, you know, destroy Orange Cassidy. Oh, he's a pleasure to work with. He's very awesome. It's just so much fun working with. Like,
Yeah, it can't defeat the purpose.
it just got me because
Right.
Jericho's a better. He should know better, but...
Yeah, and that's the thing is like they.
I think the
Sorry,
solution is
sorry,
that if they're going to, I'm sorry if I'm interrupting, but I think that the solution is that if they're going to do social media, have two separate pages. Have one is for the wrestling page, and then have another that's a private, like personal page. And maybe they can post more like their personal life, more like their in
Just
real
your
life.
friends.
Yeah, but
just your friends, and then have a.
don't merge the two things together because it's like what you said. You have freaking who was it that wants to beat people up or whatever? Which one was the wrestler you said that
Well,
that
this is
did
an
that?
example. This is an
Jericho.
example.
The Rock. Oh yeah, Chris Jericho. Yeah.
And then he's taking a picture with the person that he's supposed
Well,
to be.
the thing with that, yeah, he's like, you're like that doesn't. No, I mean, like the problem is like okay, it works if we as fans already know their friends. So it's like, good example. Truly friends. Everyone already knows that they're best friends. It's Mercedes, Carmella, Bailey, and Trinity. They're all best friends. Everyone already knows that. That's not a secret. They've gone to places together. They hang out, whatever. Everyone's like, oh, that's cool. But they would know if they're having a rivalry to not take photos with each other. You know what I mean? But the problem is a lot of AEW guys will be like you'll see a segment on Raw, like you'll see a segment on Dynamite of like, I don't know, Wardlow crushing in frickin' I don't know who's a big guy right now, crushing Hangman's kneecap with a chair, and you're like, oh my god, oh, it's so terrible. And then cut to on Hangman's social media, and he's taking a selfie, and they're eating at a fucking barbecue place, eating spare ribs, and you're like, wait a minute.
Can't you just make that Outback just for the heck of it?
I'm just like, it doesn't work, guys. You gotta either don't have a media presence, social media presence, or like Johnny said, have a private one for your friends and families. That's it. And then the other one as a public, which is like, I'm going to destroy you. If you want to use a public, a platform, use it to help build your character, but you can't use it to build your character and be a nice guy. You can't, it's not like I remember Stone Cold Steve Austin or Booker T even said that, and he was right. He said, if the internet was a thing like it was during the 90s and every wrestler had a social media page, he's like, would have all been sunk in the water. Nothing would have worked.
Yeah.
He even said, you got to remember back in the 70s and 80s, kayfabe was so real. No joke. Kayfabe was so real that in the early 80s, Ric Flair got into a massive plane crash. He was the only one who survived, and he completely broke 7 vertebrae in his back. And he had to have full spinal fusion surgery in the 80s. Now, at the time, he was a good guy at the time before. This was before he was Nature Boy. He was a good guy. And he was having a rivalry in, I think, Mid-South. And the guy he was having a rivalry with him was actually a good friend of his. I can't remember who exactly it was. But that guy went to visit the hospital and the police showed up because the people at the reception thought he was there to murder him. Like, that's how real they made kayfabe.
I miss kayfabe.
That
I do.
I'm like, that's the sort of shit that they're talking. Like, I mean, Jim Cornette has tons of stories about how people like threw glass at him and knives and tons of stuff. But I'm saying, like,
I've heard some of it. I have heard.
Which
But
some
I
of it.
remember it's a minor example, but again, it shows, like he said, the modern wrestling fan just doesn't get it. One of the last matches in the Indies that Cora Jade was going to have as Zelina Black, I guess it just got canceled because they called her up too early. But she was supposed to have that last match, but it got canceled. Was actually Joey Janela versus Zelina Black. And what happened is, I forgot how it started, but Joey Janela started talking shit about her on social media. And she started firing back. And I don't know what was it, but something like, at least I could tell it was like setting something up. But everyone got super like, oh, you're going against this girl. Oh, you're, you know, a sexist pig. But they were taking it like super serious. They wanted to cancel all that bullshit. And then they announced at some indie show, George Janela versus Elena Black. I'm like, yeah. Like, this was set up. They were setting this shit up. They were building up hype. I mean, the match never happened, unfortunately. But I kind of knew it was like building up hype. But everyone was so serious. I was like, ooh, you know.
And the modern day wrestling fan does not understand what I refer to as the balance. We all know wrestling is pre-scripted. We know that. We're not dumb. But we're able to, in the same way, like I could pull out a Blu-ray right here. I know, like, Eureka 7. I know Eureka 7 isn't real, but when I'm watching it, I'm invested in it because the story and the characters are interesting. But at the end of the day, I know it's just animation. Cool. But the thing of it is like there are people that can't differentiate between reality and fiction to the point where they're the kind of people who, if you went to a let's say a state fair and they had a mascot who was like, I don't know, let's just say there's a mascot that was a giant pepper with a sombrero, and he was like a big pepper with a sombrero and a poncho, and his name was like Peppery or something like that. Just play with me here. And he had the guy inside the suit is like it's a half suit, so you have to take it off to take the head off, right? So the guy's been in the suit for like 10 hours, like, hey guys, it's me, Peppery, or whatever.
Poncho Pepper.
Whatever. Poncho Pepper, whatever. And then he's like, all right, hey guys, is it cool if I take a smoke break? They're like, yeah, sure, go ahead, man. And like Terry, the guy who's in the suit, he goes to the side, away from everybody, sits in his car, and he starts smoking a cigarette. Now someone walks by and sees the head of the pepper. You decapitated Peppery! Ah! Like, it's like, no, dude, it's a dude in a suit. You gotta. That's how the modern day wrestling fan is like. They can't separate the two of like,
it'd be like,
there's a guy in a suit, dude.
It'd be like watching a movie, you know, the war is coming, Charles. We are the future, not them. Oh, by the way, we're still going out for bowling tonight, right?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. It's like that one joke where the one joke from Family Guy with Brian's really stupid girlfriend where it's like, hey guys, I saw this thing about some guy named Hitler. someone should really stop that guy.
Oh my gosh, he's like, yeah, he's like really bad.
He's like, it's like, and it's all like, when is your birthday? Every year. It's like, God damn it, you're stupid. Anyway, but that's my point. My point of it is the whole ramble I'm getting at is the modern day wrestling fan needs to be able to understand that character is just as important as wrestling, but you need to be able to separate wrestler and person too. You know, they are still people. That's why when we as wrestling fans, we hear about a person getting injured or dying or something, we're always like, hey, I may not like the guy, but you know, I hope he's okay. You know, that's just my mentality.
Yeah, that's what I was
But
saying.
anyway.
Back when Rollins injured himself, like his knee gave out during the house show, he was still one of the authority stooges. Everyone hated him and stuff.
Yeah.
There were people legit wishing like it would end his career and all that bullshit. And I'm like, dude, like, okay, personally,
or like,
I can't stand like, you know, Seth Rollins, the character on the TV, you know, the, what do you call it? The authority stooge.
Right.
But like, no, I don't wish him like actual harm, like real harm. I like the actual dude portraying the character. Like, come on, man.
Right.
You know, that's kind of like me with back in the day with John Cena, because I was like,
in this instance where,
no, I was like gonna say like John Cena, like me with John Cena. I did not like John Cena back in the day. I really could not stand John Cena. But I wouldn't want anything bad to actually happen to John Cena. I said, I don't like his WWE persona, but I didn't, you know, but I wouldn't want anything to happen to the real person. And even though I take jabs at Moxley, I just hate him as a character. In AEW.
Well,
but I don't want anything to literally happen to him. You know what I mean?
In Moxley's case, there's not too many things that can literally happen to him that he wouldn't already enjoy, though.
Well, that's okay. Fair point. You know, like I said, when you wake up in the morning, probably brush his teeth with barbed wire and you know, who knows? He probably instead of an alarm clock, he probably attached to a car battery that probably just shocks him awake or something. I mean, who knows? And even the Young Bucks, I can't stand.
No. The Young Bucks are a perfect example of they are actual pieces of shit in real life. So
that's why I had to slow down for a second there with them. But okay, we are really going off on a tangent.
We're off tangent. Okay,
but to bring it back, though, Ninja Panda did go for Kingston. So all of us are going for Kingston. We're back on.
Okay, wait. Before we go, I just wanted to say, we've already left the half empty arena. We are all. Okay, let me stop. The arena, I think, is sold out for the show.
Beat the traffic, clap.